Today on History's Tech, we are looking at the first single-seat fighter in United States Army Air Corps history to feature all-metal construction, retractable landing gear, and an enclosed cockpit in one package. We're looking at the Seversky P-35. This aircraft has a rather short history with the United States Army Air Corps. However, the lessons learned by its creator, Alexander Cardavelli, would allow him to later on go and develop the P-47 Thunderbolt. But let's go ahead and look at the history and development of the P-35. Now, as I stated, this is the brainchild of Alexander Cardavelli, who is very famously known for not only designing the P-47 Thunderbolt, but he designs the F-84 Thunderjet, the F-105 Thunderchief, and among a few others that weren't as famous. But this all stems from the development of an aircraft called the Seversky SCV-3. Now, this was not a fighter aircraft, and in fact, it was a three-seat amphibious monoplane. And the aircraft actually demonstrated both amphibious and land-based capabilities, showing it to have excellent performance. And because of this, Seversky went ahead and developed a land-based version that could be used as a training aircraft. And this aircraft was known as the BT-8, and this is their venture into military aircraft. Now, the BT-8 was found to be actually grossly underpowered when compared to other training aircraft and was really quickly replaced with the North American BT-9. And in 1935, the Army Air Corps announced a new competition for a new single-seat fighter aircraft. Now, Seversky decides to keep going with their SCV developments and goes with a new prototype, the SCV-2XP. And they would eventually upgrade this aircraft with retractable landing gear, a new 850 horsepower motor, and they went head-to-head with Curtiss in their Curtiss Model 75. Now, Curtiss Aircraft is actually going to protest the flyoff against Seversky, mainly because Seversky brings in two different versions of the same aircraft, and they feel this is unfair. So the Army Air Corps is going to delay the flyoff until the next year. And this gives both Seversky and Curtiss time to improve their aircraft, while also allowing companies like Vought and Consolidated to bring in their own aircraft. Seversky's modifications allow it to be re-engined. It'll be fitted with a Pratt & Whitney R1830 twin wasp, the same aircraft used on the B-24 Liberator, and modified stabilizers. And when all the aircraft go head-to-head, while the Curtiss and Vought designs are cheaper than the Seversky design, it's the clear winner, and the United States Army Air Corps goes ahead and orders 77 P-35 fighters. Now, interestingly enough, the second most popular model during the flyoff, the Curtiss Model 75, will be developed into the P-36, kind of as a companion aircraft to the P-35, and eventually the P-36 will become the P-40 Warhawk. Now, while the contract is awarded in May of 1937 for 77 P-35s, the last aircraft is not shipped out until 1938. And the Army Air Corps is already unhappy at this time for two reasons. One, the slow delivery of their new fighter aircraft, and then the fighter they didn't go with is now being sold in large numbers to the Japanese Navy, which is beginning a major expansion in the Pacific. And because of this, by the time the initial deliveries are finished in 1938, the P-35 is seen as an underperforming aircraft. It doesn't meet contemporary standards, and it's basically obsolete. And it's at this point a two-seat variant of the aircraft is built, known as the 2PA. And the 2PA was basically designed to either be a float plane or a land-based plane that would support various operations. And while the United States didn't want it, the Soviet Union procured a few for testing purposes, and the Japanese Navy actually bought 20 of them. Now, by June of 1940, the United States declares an embargo, basically saying they can't sell weapons to foreign nations, with the exception being the United Kingdom. And so they should have basically stopped production of the aircraft at that time, but Republic, who is now taking over production for Seversky, has started to basically continue a very limited production run of these aircraft. And they're doing it partially for the Swedish, who are eventually going to get a small amount of these aircraft. A couple will be sent to Ecuador, and then the rest are going to be sent to the Far East Air Force in the Philippines, where they will see very limited action. There is a credit of a P-35 sinking a minesweeper in December of 1941, but the explosion actually destroyed the aircraft. After that, the aircrafts will have very limited role in the Philippines before they're replaced by the P-40. As for the Swedish Air Force, they will deploy them from 1940 and keep them as a reserve aircraft in their forces until 1952, when the aircraft will be officially retired from service. Now, in addition to the two-seat variant of the aircraft that the Japanese loved so much, two unique aircraft were built off of the basis of the P-35, the first of them being the XP-41. This was a one-off prototype built on a P-35 frame, adding a new streamlined canopy and a new high-speed supercharged aircraft and reverse landing gears. The project was quickly abandoned in favor of the aircraft developed in parallel to this, the P-43 Lancer. And the Lancer was the idea of an improved P-35. It was supposed to be much faster, much better maneuverability. It was supposed to beat all the shortcomings of the P-35. And while it didn't meet every need, it held a gap until better, faster, long-range aircraft such as the P-38 Lightning could be built. Now, today, if you would like to see a P-35, there are four in existence. One twin-seater, an AT-12 variant in flying condition, is available in California, and a Swedish variant is available in Florida that is flying as well. The other two are static display models. But there you have it, a quick look at the P-35, an aircraft that had a lot of interesting design elements that would be incorporated in pretty much all future aircraft for the United States and the rest of the world. However, it was underpowered, it underperformed, and it was revolutionary for an incredibly short time. It was quickly outpaced during the massive evolution of aircraft development in the 1930s and 40s. But what's important about it is this is the first step towards developing one of the most important ground attack aircraft ever created, the P-47 Thunderbolt. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to talking to you on the next time.